Ramble.
Thank you to HelloFresh for sponsoring today's episode.
Y'all want to see a movie where Pinnocchio gets hit by trucks and dies? Welcome to Guilty Pleasures.
Loved that.
If you want to keep the trend of me doing quotes to start it, I'll say, good Italian wood. Yeah.
That's what I said about my last lover.
Hey, welcome to Guilty Pleasures. What's up, everybody? Today we're talking about Guillermo del Toro's Pinnocchio.
Guillermo del Toro's Pinnocchio.
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 Granted,
Pinnocchio.
GDT's been in this status, but you enter real baller status when your movies have your name and an apostrophe S at the beginning of the title.
Honestly, and all over town, there are billboards up right now. And instead of just promoting the movie, it's him looking through the little miniature sets, the stop motion sets. I'm like, that's when you know you've hit it big, is you are on the poster as the director.
He's the marketing. Well, first of all, we live in Los Angeles where we are in the full swing of for your consideration ads.
FYC.
Which is funny.
God.
I'm getting targeted Twitter ads, which is weird, because I have no power.
Did you vote?
I don't have power. I'm not in the academy.
Oh my God.
Are you?
You are? Huh? Yeah.
Fuck you. He's not.
I'm not.
Oh,
Of course not.
I'm like, I thought there was 10 people who make this decision. Why are we buying billboards?
There are a lot,
It's
but
a
you gotta be
committee.
invited.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's the Academy. But, we are in a town that is trying, Netflix is fully doing their campaign, trying to get people to get this movie to win Best Animated Feature. I believe it will.
What else is there?
Exactly. Turning Red, which I
Oh, yeah.
adore. And
Oh
love.
my God.
Wouldn't that be a great
You
underdog
never
story?
know. Oh my.
Oh my God,
My mind,
Garrick.
my mind.
That fucking song is such a fucking ripper, dog. That shit slaps
Wait,
so
hold on.
hard.
Can
Yeah,
I
back to
speaking?
back weeks.
Garrick singing just reminded me of something very funny that happened this weekend that I forgot to show you guys in the group chat.
Okay.
I had to go to the Apple store
Yeah.
because my new computer was being weird. I say to the guy, I'm like, oh, you can do anything. I've X'd out of all the important stuff or whatever. Go ahead.
Sure you did.
And what's the only thing that keeps popping up?
Pornography.
Is a notification that says Goofy's fat ass has responded. Goofy's fat ass. And he just keeps getting notifications that say Goofy's fat ass, which is the name of our fucking group chat. And I'm trying, and this guy doesn't have any sense of humor. He's a genius bar, totally focused on his job. And I'm just like, you ever seen the Goofy movie? And
Yeah.
he's like, yeah. I'm like, you ever notice how fat?
Did you try to give him a little wink?
I tried.
You ever notice how fat he is?
You ever notice that Goofy's caked up?
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Anyway, it just reminded me when Garrick was
It's
saying.
funny because we have a group chat that we used to really rotate the name of it a
Yeah.
lot based on what was happening that
Yeah.
week. It has firmly planted its
Yeah.
cheeks.
it's supple cheeks
Is it still Garrick's
in our
photo too?
lives.
The
No.
photo has changed.
It's all of us.
We
Yeah,
look
the
so
photo
cute.
has changed, but the fat ass.
Is here to stay,
Remains.
baby.
Wow, love that for
That's
us.
so funny.
Yeah, look, when I tell you I could not be less interested in seeing a Pinocchio movie.
Amen.
This is the second Pinocchio movie to come out this year.
What?
There was a Tom Hanks Pinocchio
Yeah, there
Wait,
movie.
what?
There
Yeah, came and went.
Yeah.
But
Wait, was Tom Hanks Pinocchio?
no, he's Geppetto.
Was he live action?
Live action.
Yeah.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I
Hanks.
thought we were gonna watch, and then I remember so that's what I saw being reviewed first, and I was like, "Damn, that sucks that Guillermo del Toro's
Movies.
Pinocchio got slammed this hard." And then I realized that they were talking about the Tom Hanks.
Wait,
one.
which one's better?
This one.
This one?
Are we sure?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And this is the power of Guillermo del Toro, where I had negative interest. And it's not to hate on the first Pinocchio, just I don't care, man.
What's great about Pinocchio that we need?
And then you tell me that he made it.
I'm back in.
I am front row, opening night on
Absolutely.
Netflix. Let's go.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so your living room by yourself.
Guillermo del Toro is truly the only director and celebrity that I
you wanna
feel like
kiss?
I want to run up and hug.
Yeah, you're
He
so
looks
right.
like, maybe it's because his name sounds like it, Toro, Del Toro. He reminds me of my neighbor Totoro.
Yeah.
I want to just give him the biggest
It's
hug.
the Coke bottle
biggest hug.
glasses.
And
It's the
I-
smile.
Oh my God. And the way that he talks about his
cinema.
cinema
Yes.
and his imagination.
Oh, the passion with which he speaks. He's such a leader.
Yeah.
He is, okay, I am jumping ahead to the end, but I watched the making of documentary.
Yeah.
It's
you
30
should
minutes
watch
long.
that first.
It's Did you watch it too?
Yes, and you should watch it first.
Fucking amazing. It's
This
honestly
made it-
maybe better than the movie.
No, seriously, guys, there is a 30-minute how they made this, and I think you should watch that before it,
Yeah,
or just watch that alone to get
agree.
excited about it, because
Yeah.
I made the mistake of watching it after, and I wish I would have watched it before to know how fucking insane what they did was.
I autoplayed after the movie, and I'm like, I'll watch 3 minutes of this. Stayed for the whole 30 minutes. It's the only time autoplay has ever gotten me.
Yeah.
But when you hear the way that he directs, what I adore about him is that he has such a clear vision, right? I mean, he is, I don't fully subscribe to the auteur theory, but if there is one, he is one, right? He has a vision. You can see his handprints over everything he makes. It's so unique and singular, and you see his imprint across his whole body of work. But he encourages the people that he works with to put themselves into it. And so there's this one example where he goes into, I think, like the church set that they were building. And a lesser director, me, I would be like, oh no, hey, we need to do this. We got to change that. We got to whatever. And he instead just yes-ands everything. And he goes, this is amazing. Let's age the wood. Like, we should do more. Lean in. And like, he just will praise what you're doing and then make it think that that he's playing with you to get it to where he wants.
Most people don't know that this was co-directed. It was him and a director that is big for stop motion animation.
Yes,
and
whose name I don't have.
It was a real like Mark ass name. It was like Mark.
I think it might be
Mark.
Mark Gustafson.
And Guillermo also fought to have Mexican animators do this job. He leaned in. He was like, I want to show what like the best of Mexico can do. This is stuff only Mexican animators could do. I wanted to like lean into certain aspects of style that he wanted. And he even said that normally when he's directing live action, you know, it's his job to work with the actors. That's who we're seeing on camera. And he's like, and in this instance, the animators were the actors. And so much so that the animators actually would act out the scene, like shoot on their iPhone in the middle of like this production warehouse, like literally like neon signs and cones in the background and steel doors and stuff. And they would film themselves doing it and then send it to Guillermo. And he would be like, yes, this is amazing, perfect, just like that. And then the animators would go off of their own acting to make the scene.
That is fully what animators do.
I've never heard of that, Garrick, and I've known you for 5 years.
Yeah, every day.
Why don't you tell me that?
It's so fun.
Yeah, there's a whole like behind the scenes of Into the Spider-Verse where they're talking about how much they have to do that. They are the actors of the movie, and they have to make these really weird and goofy faces in order to replicate them on screen.
Rob from like costuming who's like holding this sign in the background, and they're like, okay, you're the villain, okay, go. And they like set up their iPhone on like a stand, and it's just so goofy. I loved it.
The other detail that I adored, and again, this is true in other animated films, but it's a great thing to highlight here, is that in real performances, there are mistakes. And Guillermo talks about how you pray for mistakes. You love mistakes. It makes it real. Here you have to animate the mistakes.
Yeah.
And so they gave an example of like if someone goes to pick something up, they'll miss it the first time and have to do it again. And so all of those little quirks, like, you know, he goes to close a door and then the door, he has to give it another little nudge. Just all of those little things to make it feel more real, more human. Because you're watching this, I don't know if we've mentioned it. This is a stop motion film.
Stop motion movie.
Yeah.
Stop motion, different than claymation. Similar,
I don't know the
different.
I'm not Garrick, okay?
But it is like, it feels, and I guess they said this too, but I thought it first and then he said it. It feels like the truest art form that exists.
Yeah.
It's like you are making something with your hand,
You're making the
all
world.
of these little photos, moving it.
It's what what you did as a child.
Yeah.
And when you were playing with toys, you made your little scenes and movies with your imagination or whatever. So seeing him again be this lovable teddy bear of a person and like that effective ass ad of him like peering down at it, it's just like, dog, I would pay money to watch Guillermo del Toro play with toys.
Geek out.
Like geek out over like something small and so insane. But like honestly, from the moment that I saw the Pinnocchio model, I was like, oh, this is a Guillermo del Toro movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, immediately, because something about his use of swirls on bodies is fucking weird. Like that's like his common thread of like, you know, there's like a weird swirly over like the chest or something like that, or like on the side of somebody's face.
Well, especially once you get to the afterlife portion of this film, which we will talk about.
And that's why I think that Mexicans should have done this, like should have animated this fully because of how deeply entrenched that culture of Day of the Dead and Afterlife is. Truly. Hats off.
I feel like though that we do have to give it this moment of like understanding how this was made before you go into the story and like the plot line. Everyone knows fucking Pinocchio's synopsis or whatever, but give it to us. Right? You really should watch the how this was made before you watch the movie.
Yes, absolutely.
And we'll have more on that as we continue this pod.
Why did you say it like that?
The fuck is so funny.
It was like a funny transition. And you will hear more of this as we continue this.
I was trying to fucking host over here.
More at 5 after this. That was so funny.
And we'll be back right after this.
It was just so out of character for you.
Yeah, it's funny.
Carry on.
I hate how much that tickled you.
So sorry, go ahead.
Pinocchio is back, but this time he's fascist. We are in Italy during the rise of Mussolini. The fascists are taking rise, and a old man named Geppetto loses his son and decides to carve a boy out of wood.
Classic.
This ain't your daddy's Pinocchio. This is a new ass take from the mind of Guillermo del Toro.
Fucking the lesbian shaved head Pinocchio.
Oh my God.
That's the only way I can describe it.
Oh, you think Pinocchio's a little lesbian?
I mean, he's got one side of his hair over one ear.
Okay.
That's why he doesn't have one ear.
Yeah.
He only has one ear.
He's going to rallies. He's fighting for the fight. He's Pinocchio. He's Pinocchino.
So you've got Pinocchio trying to become a real boy in this small Italian town. They love their church. They love Jesus. And then a circus comes into town. Pinocchio gets drafted into the army?
Question mark?
Dad gets swallowed by the whale this time.
You big Moby Dick moment.
Pinocchio dies
Many
several times.
Yeah.
This is not the Pinocchio you know.
It is not a remake.
No, this
Guillermo
is. I don't even know what you fucking call this.
Pressed to make sure. He said, I did not want to do an adaptation. I wanted to do my Pinocchio.
I want to talk about we'll start in the beginning, okay? Because it begins with this a voiceover by the great Ewan McGregor. We'll talk about him some more.
Moulin Rouge boy.
Oh,
Woo!
yeah. But you talk about when we meet Geppetto, he'd already lost his son. And you go, oh, thank God, we're not going to have to watch the boy die. Oh, no.
No, please, no.
They start when he's already dead. They start with him at his grave.
Yes.
And then go back to show this fucking kid die.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's so fucking crazy because it starts off as like, oh, he lost his son during the war, and then it goes to the scene and he's looking up at fucking bombing planes, and you're like, no.
The first inkling that this is going to be way fucking darker than the childhood movie.
Oh my God. Oh my God. He was like,
he was also 10 years old, the son.
Yeah.
And when he said we lost him in the war, I was like, how the fuck are they going to do this?
He's like, he's 10 years old. He lost him in the war. I was like, did he fight in the war? Blah, blah, blah. And then the scene where he dies, he's looking up at Jesus Christ on the cross.
In a church.
In a church. It's fucking dark,
If you thought Pinocchio was a little Disney tale about a puppet and a cricket, this one is way more fucked up.
Yeah.
Way darker. And the other one had like drinking and tits in it. So that's saying something.
Wait, I'm sorry?
It did?
Yeah. Or like bare bottoms. They slap in the butt. They go to Pleasure Island.
Oh.
The little cuckoo clock
Tits
slaps
in Pinocchio?
I think the cuckoo clock slaps dick.
The cuckoo cock?
The cuckoo clock slaps tits or a butt. I can't remember.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Rainie, can we get a fact check on that?
Yeah, please.
That might have been a different kind of Pinocchio, if you know what I'm saying. The boy with the
Pinocchio,
long
am I right?
nose.
So where the fuck do we go from
Okay,
there?
so it's very dark. You get the inkling.
It's
This
very
is
dark.
very fucking dark. But you're also trying to understand, because I didn't watch the making of, I did not understand that this was stop motion. I think I texted you guys like 20 minutes into the movie where I was like, wait,
is
what
this stop
the
motion?
fuck am I watching?
Yeah.
It's so detailed.
Yeah.
The lighting is unbelievable.
Yeah.
When I first saw the first time that it kind of jiggled in a way that stop motion would, I went, holy fuck, are these claymations? And you went, stop motion. I was like, the same thing. But these are people moving a object, capturing that, moving it a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, it's 24 frames a second, so they're taking 24 photos a second. So it's a very meticulous process. And we're talking about this, but obviously there are so many great innovators in the space. Like you watch all of the Leica films.
Fantastic Mr. Fox. Super funny.
Is this also another guy who I don't know of?
You watch all the Leica films, the stuff by Henry Selick, who co-directed Nightmare Before Christmas. Like, there are obviously such great innovators in this space, and Guillermo del Toro is entering into it and continuing this time-honored tradition. But it's just so... Yeah, I mean, like, you're shooting real objects with real light. Yeah. It just kind of breaks my brain.
It's in a weird way, I see it more as live action.
Yes.
I kind of do too.
And the story feels more live action in this one.
I every time I see like stop motion productions, I'm like, why is this even entered in the animated space?
Because you think
it's
of
not
it
drawn.
You think of it to be fantastical. You think if we're doing stop motion, it's not grounded in reality. This is an insane thing to do.
This is animated in the same way that Avatar 2 is animated.
Right.
It's just like, or is live action. Where it's like, technically it's live action because there's a real person in it. But for the most part, this is all computer generated.
It's its own thing, baby.
It's its own thing.
You know what? I wrote this in my notes too. I know that I'm probably wrong in saying this, but for whatever reason, this is more impressive to me than Avatar 2.
Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
I know that Avatar is pushing the boundaries of what technology can do, but this is made with your own two hands.
Absolutely.
It's time consuming.
It's so
arduous.
time consuming. With HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip the grocery store and take control of your time, budget, and nutrition with 35 weekly recipes. HelloFresh has the options you're looking for to help you achieve your goals. Choose calorie smart and carb smart recipes, or even customize select meals by swapping proteins or sides or adding protein to a veggie dish. So I had HelloFresh all through the quarantine, and it was a phenomenal experience. Not only does it make you eat better, but you also just learn how to cook. I know you've heard us talk about Green Chef in the past, and we love that one too. Listen, they're also owned by HelloFresh. So just get HelloFresh. Go to HelloFresh.com/guilty21 and use code guilty21 for 21 free meals plus free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com/guilty21 and use code guilty21 for 21 free meals plus shipping. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit.
And
it is like finding out that Eminem read the dictionary. Like in a weird, like, why do you know all the words in the dictionary? I don't know, man. I just wanted to find out what rhymes with orange. Like that type of person. And if you took that type of grit and had them make a stop motion thing and have it be fucking smooth as eggs, honestly.
Ooh.
Yeah, smooth as eggs.
Smooth as eggs.
Smooth as eggs. Got that from the Chappelle
Smooth
Show.
as Garrick's voice, right? It's like there's something where like I want to tell them all like, you don't have to do it this way.
Right.
Yeah.
We have computers now to do this for you, but the fact that they're still using this antiquated way of filmmaking, there's something that you can't replicate with it. The little mistakes, the little jitteriness, it just is awesome.
And there's something that they said in the making of that pertains to like the story. Like we're talking about the first act here. They spend a lot of time in this Italian town. You're watching the sun die. You're watching Pinnocchio be made drunkenly one night. Why are you laughing?
You watch the sun die.
You know, what else fucking happens? He goes to church. He makes a wood carving.
It starts off with the sun.
People think Pinocchio's a possessed demon, witchcraft, wizardry.
Absolutely.
It's very dark.
It's super dark.
And remembering it that this is stop motion, they said something in the making of it that's like that in itself is inherently magical. This story has a lot of magical elements, right? He's a fucking wooden talking puppet, but it is so grounded in fucking reality in that first act.
Oh my God.
We're talking about war. We're talking about religion. We're talking about like an outside boy being shamed for who he is. Like they had to make the world so real in that first act so that the magic stayed feeling magical.
There were a few moments where I'm like, oh, that's a real. Oh no, it's stop motion. Like your brain at a certain point accepts it, and now you start believing them as real characters, which is quite a testament.
Which is sick.
What it's supposed to be.
Even in that, in the moment in the church, when you're already seeing Jiminy Cricket talk.
Yeah.
Sebastian J. Cricket.
Sebastian J. Cricket. I am so sorry to Ewan McGregor and his entire family lineage. Sebastian J. Cricket, you see him talk. So you're just like, okay, so there's some magical aspects to it, right? Feel like animals can talk sometimes and whales look fucking weird.
Yeah.
When I saw Pinnocchio walk into the church, I was like truly, truly hoping that they didn't go the route of like, oh, here comes a fairy. Or here comes a wood nymph. Oh my God.
Yep.
It's like, get it out of our town. But they were just fully on like,
Freaked
what the fuck is that?
out.
That's so weird. Get it out.
Demon.
That's an actual demon.
Yes.
That is a for real demon. I've never seen a cricket talk. I've never seen anything else. And then you really remember, and I think that's like the scene after and following, you see like them do like the salute and all of that stuff. You're like, oh wait, this is pretty grounded in reality,
And
even though we're watching
adult-like.
stop motion.
It's a lot of adult subject matter, like
Oh my
starting from
God.
the beginning of like death.
Death. It's the whole thing is about death.
Not for kids.
It's not for kids.
No.
The whole thing is about death. It starts off with somebody dying. It follows that up with somebody going through alcoholism.
Yep.
Let's not gloss over that
Yeah.
you see a sad, drunk
Yeah.
Geppetto fucking
Making
miserable,
life.
Yep. Yeah.
chopping a tree down while lightning strikes over
Grief.
him.
Yeah.
And in his drunken stupor, making Pinnocchio and then getting so drunk halfway through that he forgets to carve a second ear, and then he passes out on his staircase.
Yeah.
Ouch.
And
Insane.
that's the first 5 minutes.
And that's how we begin.
Yeah.
Ewan McGregor as Sebastian J. Cricket.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
I love this character. I love this
Instantly
take on
recognize the
him.
voice.
It's so good.
The little cricket, they say, is like a world traveler. Like he's been there, done that, bought the t-shirt, sucked it, fucked it, snorted it. He's like, I'm tired and I'm here to write my novel about my life.
You know the way that Southerners have sayings, and they're just like, I swung that thing harder than a tire in a moonshine or some shit like that. Kelsey will throw like sexual ones of those just out of the blue, and just like
I am
under,
from the
and
South.
we just kind of walk past, and we're just like, oh yeah, it's whatever, it's Kelsey.
We're supposed to
It's
just
no,
act
you're-
like that's normal.
Yeah, you're making up sexual Southern slangs.
No, that's what they say, I think.
Oh my God.
What'd you
Whatever.
say? Fucked it, chucked
Sucked
it.
it, fucked it, snorted it.
The point being, this cricket has lived, my guy.
I know what you mean. Every time any Southerner says something like that, you know exactly what they mean.
Yeah.
But
Okay. I'm
It's
I
special.
know
beautiful.
what you meant.
I'm a special original girl. I don't know what to fucking tell you. This movie was up my alley. It's been places, all
Oh
right?
my God. Yeah,
Ewan
no.
McGregor's voice.
Oh my God.
He was in that film Robots, but otherwise he has not been in animation that I can think of. I checked, I scrolled through just to make sure I was right. I can't believe what a
Voice.
super weapon.
Yeah. That guy's got a
Fantastic.
voice.
He does have a voice.
You write animation stuff. Throw him in something.
He's too expensive.
Ah,
It's
that'd be
Obi-Wan
bad.
Kenobi.
You would think actors want to do it though, right? Because they don't have to leave their house.
How has he not been in a Disney or Pixar film to this point? And that Guillermo del Toro is the first person to be like, oh my God, wait, yeah, obviously, Ewan McGregor, obviously.
Who played the voice of Geppetto?
Oh my God, do you know who it was?
Yes. Filch from
Yeah.
Harry Potter.
From Harry Potter.
Which I can't see him as anything other than Filch, so I'm just imagining Filch standing in a voiceover booth voicing Geppetto.
That's basically what it was.
That guy's great.
When Pinocchio comes to life, you mentioned it, but this movie enters full-on horror movie territory,
Oh, yeah.
which you get a couple times throughout the film. But Pinocchio is like exorcist walking, their knife
He's
flying
lanky.
around.
He looks like a wooden spider.
Guillermo del Toro, and I think that this is him being inherently spooky
Scary.
or a little bit scary while also telling a child's
Nightmarish
tale.
Before Christmas Eve.
Yeah, he can't help himself. He's
Yeah.
like, this is a fucking wooden thing come to life. This is kind of creepy. I'm going to make it creepy.
Yeah.
I'm going to make it fucking weird.
I'm gonna make it fucked up and make you think about it the way
fucking-
he moves and
Oh
his
my God.
screwy legs.
And the fact that he's not real flesh and blood. And I'm just going to talk about immortality rather than him becoming a real boy.
like he's not being the original tests Pinocchio with good and evil to see if he's honorable, brave enough to become a real boy. That's what I think I remember the original being about. This is you are faced with life's most tragic terrorist moments of death and war and fear, and you yourself are a freaky little fucking wooden toothpick thing.
Yeah.
It is so fucked up.
Yeah. But I will say, even though he was like spooky and all that stuff, and he was so excited to be alive, I was like, I'm gonna beat the shit out of this wooden toy. He was so fucking annoying.
He was not very
so
redeemable in the
annoying.
first half.
Oh, as a Pinocchio.
Pinocchio.
Oh,
yeah.
I wanted to slap that child.
I was like, oh my God.
Kudos to the voice actor. You did a great performance. I
Yeah.
hated you.
I hated you
Oh,
so much.
I wanted to
I hated you
smack
so
that
much.
little boy.
Oh, I hated you so much. But I feel like it's rather than shying away from his journey, the beginning of his journey, and being like, no, let's just have him be like lightly
Figuring
annoying.
out how to do
Figuring out how to do
things,
stuff.
If I have
He's
to hear this little
stumbling.
British bitch say "Papa" one more time,
my God.
I'm gonna snap like the
Yeah.
twig that.
that
his
made
mom?
him. But
Where's
like,
his wife?
I don't know.
Where's Geppetto's wife?
She might have passed
Is he
too.
Papa as in grandfather? It made me wonder because the age difference is so grand.
Yeah.
And it really was about this old man trying to recreate, I thought, perhaps grandson. Because
People
the
didn't
age
age well
difference.
back then.
That's fair. He might have been 30. Yeah.
Can we talk about it? Pinocchio dies
Many times.
4 times in this film,
And this is.
and I'm not talking like he dies.
Yeah.
First one, he gets hit by a truck.
This is my favorite part of the movie.
Oh, yes.
And I think that
hands
like
down.
with hands down, I felt like he could have gone
Deeper.
even deeper with
Yeah.
this motif or like this theme of just the fact that he's going to eventually outgrow everybody. And that
Zach just sat up in his chair.
the way that ending hit me in the
Yes.
fucking soul. Like I mean it's worked more than as a lesson or parable for lying.
You're right.
This is a
life
better
short.
that life is short. That lesson
Was
works
way.
way more than the lie. They honestly they threw the lying to
yeah.
the side.
They
They're
didn't
like,
give a fuck.
who gives a shit? You know that
His little nose gonna grow when he lies.
grows
Who
when he
cares?
lies, or his dick grows when he lies. Anything.
You're so right. And they layer that in really nicely, like when the good fairy or whatever the hell,
Yeah.
voiced by Tilda Swinton, is like, you know,
Tilda Swinton will always play a mystic
Yep.
of some sort.
Side note about Tilda Swinton, if you've never seen this I think you can find it on TikTok or YouTube. The most wholesome moment I've ever seen of Tilda Swinton is she was presented at like some awards like party PR thing. A guy who makes cappuccinos with celebrities' faces in the foam. She gets presented with one by this like gay dude, and she loses her fucking shit. She's like, "Oh my God, oh my! Someone get my phone. Where's my phone? How did you do that? You are so talented. Oh my! Wait, can I take a photo with it?
Yeah.
I can drink it. Can I take a photo with it? I mean, this
Okay.
woman spends like 20
So
minutes with
that-
this foam cappuccino boy.
That moment in itself is what I think celebrity should only be.
Yes.
Of you knowing
Joy.
that you are incredible at something
Yes.
and then realizing that somebody else can also be incredible at something.
She's a national treasure.
Oh my God.
Okay, so sorry about
Anyway,
that.
yeah,
tangent.
let's just go
but
back. Tilda
yes, she
Swinton.
says it very early on as either good fairy or the first death fairy, as she says like what makes life so precious is
That
it's
it
That it
ends.
ends.
is that it ends.
That's such a
Bitch,
fucking.
you hit me with that in Act 1?
Yeah, that's a fucking dark thing to start off with. Oh my God.
And the
And I was-
last line of the movie too is
Oh,
something
no, don't
like
stop.
what is it?
I just don't want
Is
to.
that
I don't
all-
want to think
we
about
all
it
one
again.
day go or something
Yeah,
like that.
we
You're
all
like,
one day
oh my
leave.
God.
Like Jesus Christ.
They
dude.
basically 6 feet under the ending of this film. They
Yeah.
show you everyone dying.
Yes.
And they have like one day he found my lifeless body by the window. So it's like, what the fuck,
And then he put me in a matchbox and carries
And
me
then
deep in his body.
You realize that he's been narrating this whole thing from the afterlife.
Yes.
And
Well,
that's
he was telling his great story.
It's oh my god.
I mean, okay. Also talking about how this is not your mama's Pinocchio. The way that he comes to life is they're wood spirits. I've seen them once or twice. Pretty good, Ewan McGregor, by the way.
That was actually incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
There are like floating eyeballs
Just
blinking
Just
that
watching.
are unsettling.
Yeah.
So again, Del Toro and his obsession with eyes.
Oh yeah.
He'll put an eye
On anything.
on any.
Give me a swirl and an eye.
He'll put an eye wherever he can put an eye. In Pan's Labyrinth. And if you ever see anybody doing this,
The hands over
doing
the
the
eyes.
hands over the eyes, I forgot that this is a podcast and you can't see what I'm doing, but doing the hands over the eyes, just know that there are eyes in the palms of the person's hands,
Yes.
and that's how you know that it's a Del Toro movie.
Oh, I'm
Yes.
sorry. You put wings on Tilda Swinton's character, and you're not covering it with eyeballs.
I'm sorry. No, maybe that was his yes and. Oh my God. This is so beautiful. I love this mystic creature.
What
this
if we put
nymph.
eyeballs on
What
it?
if we put so many eyeballs on it that it was weird?
There are eyeballs
okay.
in the
I mean,
underworld.
Guillermo, I
yeah.
hear you, but maybe we like don't put eyeballs on
No.
this one.
No. Eyes.
Eyes.
Okay, on the wings.
On the wings.
Snake eyes.
On the eyes. Wait, you said on the wings? I was talking about on the torso.
Yeah.
Oh.
Put them on the wings
Put
too.
'em on the
And you want
tail.
it
Put them on the wings.
Okay, and
Put
the
'em on the
tail, we're
wings.
just gonna do like a normal tail.
No. Two snakes.
No. Two
Two.
snakes. Two snakes.
With
Both have
eyes.
eyes.
The snakes
Four
have
eyes.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
Snakes on a plane.
Now we're gonna do these like floating creatures. It's kind of just like a ghost spirit. We were thinking like maybe like a
Eyes.
floating
Eyes.
color.
Eyes.
They blink. They're yellow.
Yeah. I am
That's the
so
color.
jealous I didn't get to work on The Hills Have Eyes. Because I want to put eyes on everything.
His version of The Hills Have Eyes is
It's
just
just
hills
eyes.
blinking at
Hills
you.
literally blinking.
And people being like,
that probably
"Oh,
would have
that's
been his
unsettling."
his actual entry into stop motion.
Yeah.
Is
So Pinocchio gets hit by a truck.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's harrowing. Like, the circus owner played by Christoph Waltz. and
Ugh, Jesus.
and
Daddy?
Daddy Geppetto.
Christoph Waltz.
Christoph
man.
Waltz could
Christoph Waltz.
fuck
dog.
Me silly.
Wow. Well,
His
let's not talk about the
accent?
afterlife. Let's talk about that.
His
Yeah.
accent, first of all, he talks 6 different languages.
Yeah, it's sick.
Just as his regular speech. He is so hot.
Oh, that's a bingo.
In one of my favorite movies of all time too. I remember that's when I'm being and even Guillermo said when he was making that villain character, there was only one voice he heard.
He's
Christoph Waltz.
He is the greatest villain of our generation.
Yes.
It feels like a cheap casting almost to me at this point.
Yeah.
I
if you
wanna
play
see-
Christoph Waltz, yeah.
What?
If you make him a villain,
He's selective,
and
I feel
I know all the Joker boys and the Heath Ledger fans. May he rest in peace. That was
those
a
old Joker
beautiful,
boys.
beautiful performance. Christoph Waltz,
Yes,
it
Inglourious
kills
Bastards.
it. Inglourious
Yeah.
Bastard. It
No, that is
truly
the single
kills it.
best
It is the
villain
best
performance
Yes.
Absolutely.
in
Of all
put
time.
to celluloid.
Yes.
It doesn't
Put
get
to
better about
celluloid.
that.
So
Okay, you fucking film
it is-
nerd.
That was a beautiful word.
Yeah.
It is cheating by casting him as a
Yeah.
villain. Yeah,
He was
he's
great,
gonna
though.
knock it out. of
He's
the fucking
always
park.
great.
Yeah.
And he deserves the world.
One of the lower, or at least lesser known villains that he's played is the villain in The Green Hornet. And he is phenomenal because it is just him going through a midlife crisis and also trying to be.
You talking about Michelle Gondry's Green Hornet?
Is it
Seth Rogen?
Seth Rogen? Yeah.
Oh,
I
you want
actually
to talk
love
about that
movie.
weird ass movie one day?
Yeah.
I'm down.
Yeah, I actually love that
great.
movie. It was on my
Oh,
Don't.
fuck yeah.
It came on my HTC whatever smartphone, the little 3D one, and I watched it several times.
Wow.
I love
Wait,
that
there
movie.
was a 3D phone?
Yeah. Or if you looked at it in a certain angle, it would
What?
pop out.
That's stupid. I
yeah.
like it.
Yeah, it's great.
Can we talk about the death scene now?
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
great.
Yeah.
Okay,
Cool.
so villain.
Pinocchio gets hit by a truck.
A
By a
fucking
guy.
truck.
Guys,
Yeah.
it's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
His
He
little
get-
bones snap.
And he fully dies. And
Yeah.
now you cut to this scene where you have these 4
Rabbit
death rabbits.
with eyes. Crazy
Always.
eyes.
Always
With-
with the
oh, they
crazy
got eyes.
They've got eyes.
Crazy spiral eyes.
Yeah.
And they're carrying a coffin.
They have the eyes of one of the characters on Blue Lock. If anybody watches that weird anime, it's about soccer.
But when that happened, I fully went, first of all, holy fuck, they killed Pinocchio.
Yeah.
Second of all, holy fuck, we're in the afterlife now.
We're in
Yeah.
hell.
What movie? This is not Pinocchio
Right.
that I
No.
know. And there is another death sphinx, Tilda Swinton,
Yeah.
who gives him a chance, says, every time you die, you're going to come back here until the sand runs out. And then the hourglass runs out and he gets like sucked down through this sand portal. It is nuts. And you go, well, I hope I don't have to see Pinocchio die again. They fucking shoot him.
Yeah.
Yep.
With a gun.
In a funny scene.
In a
funny scene, we get to see Mussolini for the first time. He is very small. He has a Napoleon complex. It's very hilarious.
Yeah.
So where was Mussolini's big old mustache?
Oh, I don't know.
it was little, wasn't it?
Anyway, go on.
But we have him seeing Pinocchio perform
In a freak show at the carnival, as a talking
He's
puppet.
a talking puppet. He's a puppet
Kind of
without
similar
strings.
to the original.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. He finally sees him, and then because Pinocchio is trying to revolt and leave the carnival from the evil Christoph Waltz, he does a
Impression?
a different rendition that is
Yeah.
making fun of Mussolini while he is there. In order to be like, oh, this evil person wrote this, you should be mad at him. So while Mussolini is watching, he is like, what did he say? And then his translator is like, he said you're poo or something like that. And he's like, oh, poo.
And he says, these are puppets I do not like.
These are puppets I do not like.
Shoot
him.
Shoot him. It was so,
and he fucking shoots him.
Shoot him.
Through the heart. And
Yeah.
he wakes up and he's back in purgatory.
And
Yeah.
then there's another scene where they try and make a child shoot Pinocchio.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Where else do we see him? Oh, I mean, the design of the whale, which is not a whale, it's like a
Oh my God.
mythological
it's
sea
not
beast,
a whale. Yeah.
my
is
God.
dope.
Don't they call
Yeah.
it like a cat dog in the after scene?
I don't fucking know. It
In the
looks like an
making?
anglerfish.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like a
A
really
fish dog. That's what they called it.
Yeah.
A dogfish. Which one's the real word? Dogfish?
Dogfish.
Dogfish. It's a dogfish. And it's got a mountain on its head.
Yeah.
I had a vision.
Moby Dick.
I had a vision because you have Pinocchio, this wooden boy come to life, and then you have this giant Jesus statue. And I'm like, what if the climax is the giant Jesus statue coming
Comes
to
to
life?
Life, and he's just like, oh, he rose again. I knew it.
Oh, God. And then he
Um,
fights the Italian fascists.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
It is super interesting that you have this movie with so much heavy, overt Catholicism and
Yes.
clearly Guillermo del Toro's like Catholic upbringing,
Yeah.
but then also pure fantasy.
Yeah.
And like
I
those
think-
two don't coexist.
Yeah, so I think with Guillermo del Toro being raised in a Catholic church and kind of what happened with me as well, where whenever they started in the like the book of Revelation, whenever they started describing demons and whatnot and what angels actually look like, because they do have a shit ton of eyes, he was more fascinated with that. He was more fascinated
Tell
with
me
like
more about the mice.
what hell would look like and all that stuff. And to his credit, that is kind of the obsession of like Italian philosophers or anything like that, or anybody that painted a cathedral ceiling. Essentially, you see heaven and hell most of the time. And so I feel like that's just so baked in to all of that stuff, to the Catholicism, to religion in general, and you have an afterlife, heaven or hell, and you can also blend the two to make it feel a little weirder, which is what was all through this movie. Every time he went back, because like building a mythos of what the afterlife looks like is always fun.
It was a big undertaking, no pun intended.
Sure.
But they did really well.
Yeah.
It was like nighttime.
Yeah, undertaking.
Yeah, the rabbits playing poker.
Instead of dogs playing poker.
Yes.
Love it.
Like a painting. And to your point, again, like I think just like we just finished talking about Matilda, where it was like they used the telekinesis just for the end scene. I feel like they had the lying parable or device just for this end scene to escape out of the whale's butthole.
Blowhole.
Was it the butt? No, it was on its ass.
It was the blowhole.
Butthole.
That was not its blowhole.
It was its blowhole.
You guys, that was on his behind.
Look me in the eyes
you
right now,
cannot-
Kelsey.
You can't
Zachary.
tell me.
You thought
That was its butthole.
you until this moment you
my
watched
God.
the film
Oh my God.
and thought that Pinocchio got shot out of a whale's pursed asshole.
Zach, the butthole is on the behind of the dogfish.
No, it is on the front of the dogfish.
You're telling me that it's like this? It's tilted in the water?
No, you just don't understand that it has a butt
its anal
fade.
glands with his tea leaves
my
versus
God.
tree leaves.
Oh my God.
So you think, I mean, by the way, we're in the belly. It would make more sense.
Yeah, and he
What
tickled
you're
his
saying-
anal glands.
What she's saying.
But it sneezes.
It farts.
Oh my God, Jesus.
It farts.
So you saw this pursed, crusty
And when it shoots
hole.
out in the air, it has little poop on the sides too.
And
So are you saying
you were looking at that hole?
Wait, you're saying that the whale is upside down the whole time?
No, it's his butt. It's like a dog. It's like a dog where its butt sticking out of the water and it shoots out the butthole.
I cannot believe
I
that we're
cannot
having this
believe you guys think
conversation.
it's the fucking mouth.
It says blowhole.
not
This
the mouth.
isn't
It's
Jonah
mouth.
and the whale. This is its butthole.
This is Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio.
Yeah.
Wait, where
There's
do
gonna
you
be
think a
eyes.
blowhole is?
The blowhole
On the top of
But,
the head.
but if you go into a blowhole, what part of the fish are you going into? What organ? Yeah. Riddle me that, motherfuckers!
No, somebody tell us in the comments.
Yeah,
I
the
guess.
blowhole probably. No, the blowhole is connected to the
Is it's
the
connected to
tum-tum.
the throat?
throat.
I thought it was
the
the
top of the
uvula.
I thought it was like I thought it was the back of the throat.
How do
type
whales
thing.
work? Because it's not its
How do
butt.
whales
Yeah. How do whales work?
Because it's shooting out excess water that
Yeah.
it eats.
It was water,
Guys,
not
it was its butthole, and I refuse to believe otherwise. It only makes sense that it's its butthole, graphically.
What is the blowhole on?
You're about to
The
get on.
blowhole is at the top of the head, which the animal breathes air. And blah, blah, blah,
I'm looking up
gotcha.
the butthole of the
It's
whale.
it's a gradual movement of the nostril, so it's its nose.
It's its nose on the top of the head. Okay, so it makes perfect sense that its butthole might be upside down,
oh my God,
coming out of
you're
its back.
still running with this.
I
It is
refuse
its
to
blowhole.
believe Pinocchio butthole.
Why would they say butthole out loud? Anyway,
I'm looking it up.
Anyway, that whale looked disgusting.
It was so gross.
I loved it.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, I loved how gross it was.
I loved how gross this movie was in general.
So,
It's
the
so
inside of the
gross.
whale was like this murky, mucky.
It had a lighthouse in it. That was funny.
I liked that.
It's eating it.
The
I think in Pinocchio it always is. There's always a lighthouse.
There was?
or is it a ship? It's probably a ship.
It was
I
a
don't
ship
remember,
and a
man.
lighthouse.
I haven't seen that movie since I was 4.
All right.
I loved how he blew the whale up and there are just chunks of fucking blubber flying
Yeah.
around.
Okay,
I love
so
how-
it might be it's
Yeah, it's a fucking butthole.
it's a butthole on its head.
Anyway,
Anyway.
so I love how obsessed Del Toro is with peril. Like, why did Pinocchio get sneezed out and then land on a sea mine?
The comedy.
He's literally flirting with death
Blown
the entire
into
He
movie.
gets sneezed out, and then the
Yes.
whale's like, "Oh shit, let me go eat that again."
Yeah.
He gets chased again.
Yeah.
Oh my
isn't
God.
this a reference to Moby Dick from the original?
I'm not sure.
I don't remember.
I mean, there is a whale, and it's like,
Yeah.
But wasn't there also Jonah in the whale?
There's Jonah and the
biblical.
whale.
It feels like it could be biblical.
There's James and the Giant Peach. He gets in the
not
whale.
same. Oh, he does.
Yeah.
Huh.
and there's James Cameron wants to fuck a whale.
He wants to
Never
fuck a whale.
forget.
He really
Right.
wants to add that clitoris to that whale, man.
hit
Yeah.
that
I
sweet,
believe that would be it.
sweet whale-issy. If I were a child watching this film,
Oh my God, I wouldn't.
No, I would not show
I
children
would
this
have
movie.
some big questions.
Yeah.
Lots of nightmares.
Huge nightmares.
So many nightmares.
Oh my God.
But the ending is the film. I'd be like, so being able to die is what makes you a real boy?
Yeah.
yeah.
How do you tell a kid that?
Yeah,
That-
absolutely.
I mean, it is one of those things where you should have a conversation with your kids after this movie.
yeah. My takeaway to the ending is that you will eventually outgrow your parents, and
Ugh.
that fucking hurts.
Well, Guillermo did say this. Most movies are about him and his dad.
yeah.
And this one, he's like, is no different, obviously.
Oh my God.
I'm a little mad that we that you also watched that behind the scenes doc because I thought that I was just gonna be spitting out these facts.
Oh no, I loved the making.
It was
I love
so
a
good.
doc. I
I
love
love
a
a
behind the
good-
scenes. Can I say I had to pause the movie and order a creme brulee in the middle of watching this because Pinnocchio looked so much like a caramel.
Yeah, he did look pretty delicious.
Looked like a caramel candy.
He did look pretty delicious.
It made me so hungry. He was a shiny wooden caramel little boy.
Yeah.
Like a little hard Werther's candy in your grandma's candy dish. And I got so hungry watching this, I ordered a creme brulee to my house at like 11:30 in the morning.
Great.
Holy shit, we forgot to mention it's a musical.
Oh, who cares?
Yeah.
Well, the audience should know.
Yeah, he sings a
Oh,
couple.
it is.
There's a
It
couple.
really
tunes in there.
surprised me.
But
Yeah.
didn't they say that it's a movie that has musical numbers in it? Like
Sure,
that's what they're
whatever.
I would
pitching it
rather.
as?
I would rather put that in there. I would
'Cause
rather
it's-
say
what?
that.
Name one of the songs. I can't.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
don't know.
super care for them.
No,
Yeah.
I can't
It's
name a
just like
single
they
movie.
sing. I mean, he has a beautiful
Song.
voice. That little boy has.
Did he?
I liked it.
Once you see what the kid looks like, you're gonna hate him even more.
Oh no.
Yeah.
He's a real little stinking looking kid, a little
God.
stinker.
Never mind then.
I don't want children. I don't care if you keep that in. How old was
Pretty deep,
Pinocchio supposed to be? 10? Because he was so
Yeah. How old was
caramelly.
Carlo? Carlo
Oh my
was 10.
God.
Carlo
Yeah.
was 10. There was
Carlo
something.
looked like a little
Carlo
bitch.
was
He
so
was soft
obsessed
as
with
fuck.
like he's just like, oh, I'm gonna run back and get this pine cone.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have to admit, I thought that the craft was beautiful all around, but what they talked about is that having more facial hair, like more lines, it adds for a more expressive face,
Yeah.
right? So Carlo, the
Yeah.
kid, was very hard to animate because he's soft. He's
Yeah.
smooth.
Smoother the face.
Smoother the face, the harder it is to animate, harder to express. And so with Carlo, I did get a little bit of the Team America effect,
Yes.
Yeah.
where he just kind of looked like this little bit of a lifeless marionette. And it pains me to admit this, but when the bomb was coming down and Carlo looked up into the sky, I burst out laughing.
God damn it.
I fully was like, ah, and then I tried to catch it in my mouth. And
Oh, man.
y'all ready for some fun facts?
Let's do
Fun
it.
facts. Fun facts.
Well, I watched the same documentary as Kelsey, so some of
I'm
these
gonna know all.
are from those, but then Rainie sent me some as well. So this Guillermo del Toro, it took him 15 years to get this made. He's been trying
What?
to do this for a long time.
And I fucking.
Hold on. Before you go to fun facts. Wait. Before we go to fun facts, we have to say the most insane casting choice that they made in this entire movie.
There's a lot of them.
Okay, this will be a fun fact then. Can I tell a fun fact?
Go ahead.
So, the voice of the monkey,
Oh my God. Yeah, you're right. How did we not talk about that?
Sparkatata or whatever its name was, Sparchatata,
Spazatura.
Spazatura, Kate Blanchett.
Oh my God.
Because they were working on Nightmare Alley, and she said, "I loved Guillermo so much. Please put me in anything. I'll do Pinocchio." And he said, "Well, the only thing we haven't cast yet is this monkey." And she said, "I would play a pencil for you."
Oh my God.
And so she is the monkey.
Wait, I wasn't sure if I honestly thought that I read that wrong because I my brain couldn't believe it. Are you telling me that Kate Blanchett played
Voices-
a fucking monkey without
A
lines?
boy
no,
monkey
but
without
the monkey,
lines.
the monkey does
have a couple lines as puppets.
as the puppet.
But was that?
But even that was supposed to be like a
Oh,
a
and
joke.
Ron Perlman's
person.
Podesta. That makes sense because he's in everything. Wow.
Kate motherfucking
friggin'
Blanchett won it stands, ride so hard for Guillermo that she said, "I would play a pencil for you. Put me in as
I
the
love
crazy
that.
monkey."
I love that type of love.
Yeah,
I
she
love
doesn't
that
give a
type of
fuck.
love.
She's not like
By the
I'm
way,
Kate
though,
Blanchett.
same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd play a pencil for him.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry,
I'd
go
play
to
the
your fun fact.
eraser on a pencil for him.
Nice.
I would go into a voice booth
All right,
and
we
just
got
go, Guillermo, if you're out there listening, this is my audition. You ready?
Go. Nice.
I would do that for you.
Someone remix that and send it to him. Okay, sorry to interrupt your facts.
No, it's
I
good.
just don't think I could get over that casting.
No, that's incredible, and I'm honestly mad that because I read that or I saw that last night, and my brain like
couldn't compute.
refused to accept
You're like,
it.
I'm just dreaming at this
And I was like,
point.
oh, that's a funny thing. I heard them say that she played the monkey. That doesn't make sense at all. Wow.
That's weird. But I one of my main questions is why isn't the monkey speaking? Because he's making these puppets speak. So I mean, it's Kate Blanchett, so that makes sense.
Yep. They were
So-
like,
Again, these are really cool things you'll learn
think
in
about
the
it.
making of. But one thing that was totally wild to me, the original villain of the film was a totally
Yes.
different character design. So
Yes.
they designed this big burly guy who I think is from the original source material. And Guillermo looks at it one day and goes, "This is all wrong. Our villain's shit." And so there was another side character that they had designed, and they took that design and made it Christoph Waltz. and with the big orange hair and whatever. But as a result, they had put months and months of work into designing this big burly guy. And so he became an extra in all the circus scenes.
Yes.
And as a result, you see him all over the movie in all of those scenes. And he's so incredibly detailed as an extra.
They said
That's
it
great.
could take up to a year for them to agree on a design for a puppet, for a character.
That makes absolute total sense.
Yeah.
I took a tour of Sideshow. It is a company that does the statues for a lot of these types of works of stop motion, and then they also will sell action figures and very, very detailed statues of like Marvel products. I mean, stuff from like DC, comic books, anime, all that stuff. And as we were walking around and we saw one of the artists, we just genuinely asked, how long does it take for you to make the prototype? They only make 2 prototypes. How long does it take for you to make one? And he was like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 years. It's like, Jesus Christ.
They made so many versions of these. Like they were showing us how big, like the biggest one they made was, and it was like the size of a giant, like, I don't know, yoga ball. And then like the smallest one was like this big.
Love it.
That was going to be my next fun fact.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all right.
I stepped on it.
Yeah, they had to make different scaled items, which makes sense because you have one of the characters is a cricket, right? So in the scenes where you have a cricket, there's only so small you can make a puppet for it to still be articulatable. So they would make him, and then they would make a giant ass Pinocchio head in scale to that, and then you have to make the set around it in scale to that in proportion. So depending on what they were shooting, they would have different size creatures, different size things, and you just have to kind of do the math from there.
Because of the perspective.
Because of their perspective. There's 2 different types of stop motion animation. There's replacement, and there is, I believe it's called
Mechanical?
Mechanical, thank you. Yeah. Mechanical is where you have one face and you can articulate it and move it with your hand. Replacement is where for each movement that something's making, you switch the head off and do it like that. So they did mechanical for all the characters except for Pinocchio, who was replacement, and that's because they didn't want the rest of his body to move when he spoke. He was a piece of wood. So just all these little details, really great attention to details.
It's like
cool.
a freak of nature level thought that they have put into each and every character's lines and crease.
I think that it is fucking beautiful and crazy for somebody to do a stop motion movie.
Yeah.
Because honestly, we can make a movie right now with our phones.
Yeah.
We can make a movie right now with our phones. In this room, we can do like a bottle movie or whatever, do like an escape room type situation. It would be bad, but we could do it. We cannot do a stop motion thing at all.
Nope.
It is so beyond the purview.
Yep. So many experts
and skill set of
needed.
Of your average person. If you walked up to somebody who's just like, "Hey, could you shoot your baby like taking its first steps?" Yeah, I think I could. And then you asked,
shoot your baby, and I was like, I said I hate kids, but goddamn.
Oh, yeah, I'm so sorry. Could you film your baby taking its first steps? It was, yeah, sure. I think I could. I have a steady hand. Also, same question, but if your baby was a wooden boy and you had to articulate all of its movements and whatnot, could you do that? Like, probably not.
No, I don't have the time or energy or the focus.
Yeah, it takes a godlike creative to do that.
Fucking wild. This is cute. Alexander Desplat, the great composer, had all the instruments for the recording session made of wood. Aww.
Garrick just fell in love.
Oh, the look,
the anger on his face.
I fucking love effort, man. I just appreciate it so much. So that little detail is really what made it makes.
I just changed my mind. I like all the music in the movie.
Yeah.
I thought the music was good.
This is fun. Okay, there was a moment where I noticed, I forgot to mention this, but they put Pinocchio on a cross and try and burn him, which was hilarious. But the Jesus Christ sculpture in the church, after it's bombed, is missing a left arm. So too, at the end of the film, Pinocchio is missing his arm.
He is?
Our little Jesus Christ.
Huh.
Yeah, because he dies and rises again and dies and rises again and dies and rises
Just
again.
like the wood of a pine cone becomes a tree, he gets chopped down, made into Pinocchio. Pinocchio dies, goes back into the ground, becomes an acorn, becomes a pine cone, becomes a tree. It's reincarnation. This movie's about reincarnation.
Yeah, which is
I know something else that's rising again. It's me, Pinnocchio.
Yeah, reincarnation in the Buddhist faith is a curse.
It checks out because that theory has always sounded incredibly taxing. I didn't ask for this.
Yeah.
Heavy subject.
Well, now it's time for us to decide: is this movie a pleasure, guilty pleasure, or just plain guilty? Yeah, I mean, for the craft alone, you gotta call it a pleasure. I mean, it'd be like insulting to call it anything less.
It's insulting to call it a pleasure, and not call it a pleasure.
It's not my favorite movie.
No.
I have some qualms with like some of the story choices.
Yeah.
But it is a visual feast, and if nothing else, to just watch a master like Guillermo del Toro. I mean, anytime he gets to, whatever he does, you should watch.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
I will say, like, if his name was not attached to it, I'm not going to lie, I'd probably say this was a guilty pleasure because I wouldn't have watched how it was made, and I would have only watched the story and thought of this as like a really dark, weird, fucked up 2023 version of Pinocchio, the original, and been like, this is stupid. But because I've heard the craftsmanship behind it, because I fell in love with like the reasoning behind so many of the things, I now totally obviously peg it as a pleasure, but that just goes to show of like, you don't know until you know,
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to take for granted the intense skill and craft that goes into
I
something
could
like
have thought this was claymation if you hadn't told me. You know what I mean? I would have been like, oh, I don't need to watch this. This creeps me out like James and Giant Peach. I ain't gonna watch it.
But
Stuck
a counterpoint to what you're saying.
Yes.
Go
on.
I think that this is a pleasure because if Guillermo del Toro's name was not attached to it, it would not look like this. It would not feel like this. It would not be the same movie. It would look so much worse. It would look so much more heartless in a weird way, even though the movie was pretty dark. But just like, it would be lacking focus and thought and care and effort that is just flowing through the entire works.
Certainly wouldn't get Cate Blanchett playing a monkey.
No, you wouldn't.
No, you would not.
You wouldn't get half of the talent.
Watch her get nominated. I would just be like, yeah, okay, checks out. Makes sense.
But yeah, it was just like, again, like I was saying before, as soon as I saw the design for Pinocchio, I was like, oh, this is probably a Guillermo del Toro movie. So, the fact that his name is attached means it's a pleasure.
There you go.
Goddamn. Well, now is time for our pleasures, things in media that we are enjoying, and I'm going to kick us off with something on YouTube. CoffeeZilla is a really great creator. He is a YouTube investigator who does a lot of videos about crypto scams.
Wow.
And his 3-part series on Logan Paul's Crypto Zoo is one, just a fascinating, well-done story, but I want to specifically shout out his production skills. It looks great. His set looks awesome. In the second episode, he talks to a robot barista. I'm just really impressed by what he made, and that is that's just the craft behind what he made, and then that's apart from the story and the investigation that he did, which I also thought was fantastic and really compelling.
I'm going to piggyback off of what you did with a YouTube watch, and I'm going to say everyone needs to stop what they're doing and go look at Kyle Anderson's mini doc called The Crystalia Problem. I want to get a little bit spicy, talk about the controversy around Crystalia. I don't know why he's still on a Patreon platform, why he's still trending on the comedy podcasts for what he's done. And Kyle Anderson is just a comedian, not a filmmaker, doc maker, but he made an incredibly well done doc that has like damning and shocking evidence that not even like the trials and whatever they call pre-trial stuff has done. And it's at like 500,000 views. And I don't think he had made a video before that. So go check it out. It's like 58 minutes.
Yeah, I have watched it. It is very good.
It is very good.
It is very good. I guess just sticking with the YouTube documentary theme here, I think that everybody should, if you're into this sort of thing, watch Road to Le Mans by Porsche. Or Porsche, I'm so sorry. It is about Michael Fassbender and his 4-year journey from Porsche Cup driver to Porsche GTE driver in the 24 Hours of Le Mans, and it's actually
How do you spell
pretty
that?
fascinating.
Spelled Layman's.
Layman's.
Lemans. Two
All right.
words.
French.
I'm gonna watch that tonight.
It's great. It's really good.
Wait, there's a YouTube series starring Michael Fassbender,
Yeah.
and this is the first I'm hearing about it.
Yeah,
That's
why haven't I heard
wild.
about it?
Yeah, because he stepped away from acting for 4 years, and everybody's like, "Where is he?" And then we just find out that he's been driving. He's been
Yeah,
racing
making
cars.
a YouTube series.
They're making a YouTube series.
Hey, what's up? I'm Michael Fassbender. Smash that subscribe button.
Don't forget to subscribe to this channel.
Yeah.
I got a
wild.
big dang.
Okay, so like the Triple Crown in racing is winning Monaco in Formula One, Indianapolis, the Indy 500, and winning the 24 Hours of Le Mans. And I get so those are like very important races, like just as far as the motorsport goes in general. So him going for it is really, really impressive and really, really scary. It's a terrifying race.
Sick as hell. Well, that's it for this week.
Woo, that was a good one. I'm out of breath.
That was a good one.
I'm sweating.
Yeah, that was good.
That was a fucking.
You remember when
That
we
felt
started
good.
this? I was like, how are we going to talk about Pinnocchio for
And
an
then we
hour?
talked about
I'm
it.
fucking jacked up.
This might be
Yeah.
one. This is a top
This is
tier.
a good one.
Yeah.
This is top
This is
tier.
Good, good for
Yeah.
us.
Good for. Hey,
What
you
are we
know
doing
what?
next week?
Fuck if I know.
Yeah.
Wait, are we good coming close up to your wedding?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
We should do a love movie for Valentine's Day.
You know what you want to do? One of my favorite movies.
Yep.
It Takes Two.
Yes!
All right, we'll see you next
Sorry,
week for It
Rainie.
Takes Two.
Damn.
Yay!
I thought you were gonna say Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
That's also a good movie, but it's not as good as It Takes Two.
It's not good.
I'm at Cordy on all things.
Baby. It takes. I'm Kelsey Darragh on all things.
I'm Garrick Bernard at all the things.
And until next time, fuck Crystalia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Fuck
don't
him.
ever forget
Fuck
it.
him. Papa?